Hey everyone, Phil from PC Games N here. I'm joined by Joel.
Hello.
For another one of our Civilization 6 Let's Plays. What an epic journey it has
is
been
really,
so
isn't
far.
it?
After a shaky start, a well-documented shaky start in the comments.
He's not getting over this. He really isn't.
We're sort of getting back on track. I've finally got a second city, so get off my back.
Yeah, Osaka
Right,
has
I've
been
got
built
two.
on a lovely cliff face near
I've
some
got-
whales.
We're 73 turns in and I've got 2 cities. What more do you want?
Exactly. You people.
And I'm starting to go for a science victory. We're friends again now with Roosevelt, who we're previously at war with. Victoria doesn't really want anything to do with us because we are existing on the same continent. That
She's a
makes
bit
her
of
grumpy.
she's a bit of a cold fish, isn't she?
Yeah.
Really?
Pedro's well happy with us because we're useless. And I am befriending Geneva, which is a science city-state.
That's what you like.
And yeah, I'm sort of edging towards upping my science production to see if I can have a go at Roosevelt, who's a little bit further ahead than me.
So yeah.
What else has happened? We've had an examination of the new art style, which I'm broadly in favour of, despite some criticisms from some fans. I don't think it's going to be problematic. I think there's always a bit of a if you spent that much time playing Civ 5 and all its expansions, it's always going to feel like a bit of a wrench if there were any changes at all in the visuals. It didn't really look like a 4 or 5 year old game. And I think this is probably quite
Feels
a
like
smart
after all
way
that
to-
time they had to do something fairly significant with the
Yeah.
art style just to make it a clean break to a new numbered instalment, really.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Clash of Clans going on there with the warrior designs and to an extent the leaders as well. What's interesting is that as they're announcing the new leaders, so as we're recording this, they've just announced King Philip of Spain and Barbarossa of Germany.
Yeah.
And also a Scythian leader. I think they look a little bit different to Roosevelt and Pedro and Victoria.
They've slightly tweaked it due
I think
to
they look a
feedback.
bit more like the Civ 5
Interesting.
leaders. It's subtle, isn't it? It's hard to really say that definitively, but I wonder if they're responding to the feedback they've got there. So I'm looking at some sciencey stuff there, and I've got a science district up to the northeast of Kyoto, and I've set that on a campus research project which boosts my science production, and I'm going to build a science campus in Osaka as well, but not before.
Not before you just built a granary.
I do a
did you?
granary.
Yeah.
So what I'm doing
Well,
is
people have got to eat, Phil.
I'm sort of commentating on a play session that I've already done. So I'm not always aware of exactly
he's
what's
not
going to happen
mad.
next.
He just can't quite remember.
Yeah, I'm not just sort of picking things at random. And obviously I would have chosen a few things differently with the benefit of
Look
hindsight.
at these guys; they're well off into the hills.
I think I've set them to automate, explore.
Yeah,
which is
well,
why
that's what they're doing.
They never do it particularly wisely though. Like,
Well,
it's
if you
not-
will be lazy and automate it, you know.
yeah, but like why explore the very, very northern perimeter first when there's like an entire world map and loads of stuff? I've never really understood that, but it's a long-standing tradition in the Civ games. So
I feel like we should have met more other civs by now. Is that
I was
not the
thinking the
case?
same thing. I've not built any scouts or anything. So I've probably seen a bit less of the world map than other civs have, or that a lot of players would at this point. But if you've been watching since episode 1, you'll know that I had my hands full from quite an early stage. What you'll also see in the tech tree is that everybody's a bit more close to... Oh no, it's just me that's lagging behind. So Brazil's caught up to Roosevelt there in the bottom scroll bar.
Where's the Brits? Where are the Brits at?
I don't know if we can... Well, they won't be beyond...
That seems... Oh no, you're still there with England in there.
Yeah. So that's a handy way of seeing how you're doing in relation to other civs. And if you're going for the science thing, it's a good barometer to keep checking in with. So I've got work to do if I want that science victory, because I'm a whole era behind. I've got a worker, and I'm still sort of struggling around with this idea that I have to place them somewhere and then tell them to build a thing. So I'm going to get them to build a copper mine so that we've got copper to distribute
I
throughout.
thought for a minute there you were going to do some deforestation, which would have been horrible.
No. No, the planet comes first. Unless, of course, there's copper.
Unless, of course, it doesn't. Yeah.
Found another barbarian camp. I've got a little bit more breathing room from barbarians here, so that's more enjoyable. Things have calmed down a little bit in this era. 78 turns in, and I finally got some time to think a bit more tactically. I've still got a few loose barbarians though.
Yeah, I feel like it has slowed down in that regard, though, definitely. The early game was basically just spent clobbering barbarians around the face.
Yeah. There are still barbarians to clobber, and they will just keep spawning until you get rid of that base. So I'll send some up there, but it's just a shame that there's nowhere really to settle.
A physician without a knowledge of astrology has no right to call himself a physician.
So we did need that. You can't very well go for the science victory without having an understanding of astrology.
Quite.
So I'm probably going to want to buy a tile next round as well, because I want that milk.
Sweet
I
milk.
might even try and buy it this round, thinking about it.
Willie, no.
No, I've got war to do instead.
He's going to take down these spearmen.
My archers go for it with the spearmen. I'll weaken them so that the barbarians next round can... No, Phil.
You don't want to do that, Phil.
Yeah, they'll take them out, and then we should be able to take the camp, get a little bit of XP. That's fine. That's collateral damage.
Yeah, you know.
So previously in Civ 5, Japan had Bushido, which meant that those archers there, even though they're at sort of half health, when they attacked, they'd attack with the strength of a full
Of a
unit.
1,000 suns.
Of 1,000 suns. And that isn't the case anymore. The samurai, I think, still have that ability, but I'm a way off. There we go. I've bought that tile.
Well
I'm
done.
glad I've done that. I'm a way off building samurai. So yeah, things have changed in terms of the combat prowess of Japan.
I do like the just to go back to the art style of the cities and the buildings and stuff like that themselves. Like the units, sort of, I don't know, but the actual cities and the stuff you're constructing around, I really like. I think it's nice.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely a step forward to expand those cities and give them a little bit more detail.
Yeah.
How they'll look in sort of the modern age when they've got wonders all around the place in big science districts or barracks and whatever, that remains to be seen in this playthrough. But yeah, I think it's a step forward. It makes sense, and it always looked a bit weird when if you were going for building loads of wonders, you tend to build them in a capital because it had the quickest production rate. So you'd end up with 6 wonders all cramming in on one tile or thereabouts, and it looked weird. So we have an envoy. So I'm going to want to send this envoy out to a city-state that will give us a science bonus because we're all about science. So you can see in the top...
Geneva then, will it?
Exactly. So that generates more science in our capital. Our capital has a science district, and we're doing a campus research project on there. One of my government policies works such that when I send one envoy out, it counts as 2. So that makes Geneva even more happy with us. So that some thought is now going into proceedings.
The tactics are taking shape.
And if you look in the top left
you're about
of
to
the
kill
screen,
some whales.
well, kill or cultivate.
No, kill. I'm fairly certain I saw them turn to skeletons for a second there.
Up in the top left, we've got the science production rate per turn, and that's going to start going up quite dramatically. Hopefully, that's the idea. We've got quite a lot of gold now as well, and once I realise that,
is it time for another settler, Phil?
I'll probably build another settler because I don't really have any other cores for gold. I'm not doing any trading at all because I don't really have anything to trade. I've got whales and copper down here, maybe a bit of cotton up in Osaka, but
people who cannot find time for recreation.
Do you think this man's going to be replaced? Do you think this is placeholder man?
I think, certainly some aspects of this are placeholder. So I think when we've got the man who isn't Sean Bean talking, I think he might be placeholder.
I think he might be.
So don't go thinking that that's how the game's going to be when it's released on October 21st.
Yeah, we're definitely sure about that, as you can tell.
So I'm looking through what's going to give me the most science. I might even be seeing whether I can... Oh, I've gone for mathematics. Interesting move, Phil.
The science of numbers.
I go for basically just anything with civics, though. Because I don't understand it, and it's sort of a new system, and I'm not giving it the proper time of day. But I'm not too far away from establishing political philosophy.
Oh, I've backed out of that then.
What do I want? What do I want?
I think you want mysticism.
Yeah, maybe.
You do.
Yeah, it awards me an envoy, you see.
You do want mysticism.
And the more envoys I have, the more friendly I can be. So I'm building a campus district in Osaka. Am I going to do it this time? Go on, Phil, just click it. Go on, just
you
click
want
it.
to. Gosh, it's tense, isn't it? Oh.
Do I want the harbour, though? Or maybe the...
Well, this is ridiculous.
Oh, maybe the settler? Go on, build the campus, Phil. Build the campus. The music stopped, Phil. Come on.
I think you're going to build the entertainment complex.
No, surely not. I think I'm wondering about the harbour. Oh, I've gone with a builder.
Of all the
there we
things,
go.
of all the things, I did not expect that.
Well, that's... Yeah, what I would have preferred to have done then is just gone and got the research campus up off the ground. But whatever, you need
this is great.
builders.
Watching yourself play a game back is more entertaining than I thought it might be, actually.
You know, like, it can be frustrating because when you only have to think, like, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but there are fewer things to think about when you're watching the game.
True.
So you're just like, we'll do that. Obviously, just do that.
Yeah.
It's sort of like backseat driver syndrome because you're not in the moment by moment control. You're just like, well, just stop.
Also, you know how this turned out, like the next 80 turns or whatever.
Well, that's
so
true.
you know what you should have done differently.
Yeah. Like the biggest problem I had was not setting my stall out from turn one and saying, I'm going for this.
Yeah.
I just sort of wanted to see how everything worked.
Like
Because there
Oh,
are new
that's
systems.
fine, you know, you're
Militant
playing a new
mysticism.
game and...
I'm absolutely sure of some things that I don't quite know.
So we know mysticism, which I feel like isn't a tremendous asset. It's not like masonry, is it? Like,
I
oh, we've
feel
learned
like
masonry.
it, yeah.
But that's that out of the way anyway.
So what each of those take a different number of turns. You've gone for drama and poetry now. Science, Phil. What happened to
Well,
science?
we have to, like, there are two trees working in tandem there. So in the top left, next to the sort of the blue plus 15.8, which has increased significantly,
It
if you
has.
don't mind me saying. There's also the culture production rate. So that's what generates cultural progression along the culture tree. So you can't really ignore it. Like, even if you're not going for a culture victory, you still have to pay half money to it. I've built a settler. Brilliant. I've paid the money
You've
anyway.
paid the money. You're down to 26 gold.
You pay the money, you take your time, as the famous band Status Quo once said, I think. Is that what they said? You pay your money, you...
Take your choice. I don't
Make-
know.
take
Make
it-
your- whatever. You build a settler, is what they said.
Yeah.
You found a third city in Civ 6.
There's not like a no-brainer location to send this settler to. I think what I'm trying to do here is get these warriors to find somewhere to send the settler.
Yeah, I'd keep them away from that icy tundra up there.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is Brazil's basically colonized everywhere to the south, and in the immediate south.
Do you
if
have to
look at
spread them out by a particular
No,
distance?
but later on,
I suppose
you
you're going to
don't-
want to expand further and further.
Yeah, like I could go in between those
That's
two, where
what I
there's
was
the crabbing
thinking.
tile.
Yeah.
It's good to have cities on the coast, particularly if you're Japan. But I'm wondering about building another settler. I'm going settling crazy.
Getting greedy.
Or do I want to boost my? Yeah, I want
Apparently
another
you want
campus
more.
research
There
grant.
you go.
Um,
Put that in the queue then.
I'm not sure that that's particularly the right move at this point, but broadly it's moving the whole science thing forward. And I'm now researching 20.4 science per turn, so that's good. We've built the builder, or the worker rather. No, the builder. I keep calling them workers because that's what they've been called for.
No, you build a builder, you don't work a worker, Phil.
You build the builder, you take your choice.
Exactly.
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 I'm being tempted into buying some more tiles. I've gone with that because it's quite lush and provides a bit of extra production. So we'll do that, and then we'll get the worker to improve
I
it.
feel like despite your sort of sometimes regrettable choices, you really are starting to make progress here.
There's some progress being made, yeah. And I think next time we check in on the tech tree, I think I'd have caught up a little bit with Roosevelt.
That would be good. I'd like to see you move into a whole new era.
Yeah, it's not as dramatic. I always sort of feel it a bit disappointing when I think it was Civ 4 that really nailed that. The feeling of progressing into a new era. Like the map changed really, really distinctively, and the music changed. And I just remember it being great. And then in Civ 5, and I think in this game as well, it's just a bit, oh, right, we've done that then, have you?
Well, it's something to look forward to, that's for sure.
The music's quite non-specific as well. I don't know if that's a placeholder thing as well or not, but like a while ago, I think in the previous episode, we had banjo music playing.
I've quite enjoyed the music. It's been quite relaxing. But right, what we're going to do there, I think we'll call it a day on this one. We will be back for future instalments. We can see that era shift. Very exciting. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
looking forward to that one.
So leave a comment. Please criticise Phil as much as you like. He really enjoys it, as you can tell. And yeah, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye-bye. I'll be very advanced
Yeah.
if I was familiar with the works of Freud at this point. And there's going to be a new Civ. We're going to
cardboard.
meet a new leader soon, I think.
Yeah.